Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather through November for today's video. Now I've got some suggestions from the GFS model that we might start to turn things colder in the second half of the month, or from the middle part of the month into the second half of the month. It keeps coming up with this idea of lowering heights to the south, rising them to the north and the west, and turning winds into the north. Now there's no other model really supporting this, although we'll have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre towards the end of the video, which is a longer range model, and that is indicating a colder second half to November, but not necessarily from the kind of pattern that the GFS is going for. But the GFS is an extended model. It runs out to 384 hours. Most of the other models only go up to 240 hours, 10 days out. And this changes just beyond that 10-day period. Now, because we're talking about the extended range of the GFS, there's got to be a lot of uncertainty about this. But it's just the consistency of the model, really, run after run after run. Mainly is going for these cold northerly winds. So I'll have a look at all the detail on it in a second. But before I get on with that, just very quick to mention the ads at GasWeb Business. These articles on the page is at GasWeb Business, have a browse widgets. Click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. This video adds to most pages which open up the content. We watch them and close back up again. It's all help to pay website. The shop is open, the Amazon shop. So if you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas, all you have to do is go to the Christmas shop. There's a button underneath the video here on the homepage that says Christmas shop. Just click that, take it to the Christmas shop, and then in the Christmas shop we've got a search widget where you can search for the item you want to buy at Amazon, or alternatively you can just click through the Amazon banners and go off to Amazon, do your Christmas shopping as normal. You don't have to do anything different, just go to Amazon, do your Christmas shopping as you would normally. But the key to it all is that you've gone from GasWebBiz to Amazon via the Amazon banners, and because you do that, we get a revenue fee on the things that you're buying. So thanks so much for getting involved, and thanks for doing that. So we're going to start off with the central temperature, just to show how mild it's been through the first few days of November. So we're currently provisionally sat at 10.2, an anomaly of 1.8 degrees above average, nearly 2 degrees above average. That's provisional up to the 4th of November. That's probably going to rise even more excuse me, over the next few days, because we're in for some very mild conditions indeed over the weekend, and particularly into the start of next week. You can see this very clearly on the temperature anomaly. This is from the 5th to the 13th, so for the coming week, and look how mild it is. We're not alone. Most of Europe is exceptionally mild as well, so if you like cold weather, you're not on your own. Lots of other places are suffering with these very, very mild conditions. Of course, a lot of people like mild weather as well, so they're not suffering at all in these mild conditions. But it is very mild across virtually the whole of Europe. You have to go right way towards the central part of Russia, around the Urals, to find anything particularly cold, particularly colder than average. Anyway, the rainfall anomaly going to be a bit above average through the coming week. This is from the 5th to the 13th, so a little bit above average with precipitation, as is most of central northern Europe, significantly drier than average to the south, indicating a big ridge there through southern Europe and into the Mediterranean, pumping up that mild air, and to the north of it we're running the jet stream through, bringing precipitation in. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles, dealing with the temperatures first of all. These are for the next couple of weeks. Red line here is the 30-year temperature average, so quite clear we're in this exceptionally mild spell of weather at the moment. We're going to be staying that way into next week. Dates are on the bottom of the graph there. So up to around the 10th, 11th of November, we're staying very mild. Then there is a definite trend downwards through this part of the ensemble. We're going back towards the 30-year average. And then after that, we get a huge amount of scatter in this part of the graph. So we've got some members of the ensemble which are continuing or going back to exceptionally mild conditions, but we do have other members of the ensemble which are going colder. Now, the operational run of the GFS, I don't often talk about this, but the operational run of the GFS is indicated by this thick green line. The operational run is essentially the highest resolution member of the GFS model, and it's the one that makes up the basis for the charts that we use in all of these videos. So in a moment, I'm going to show you the midnight run of the operational GFS model. So it's this thick green line, and this thick green line is consistently going colder than average in the second half of the month, but we've had a great deal of support at this stage from its other ensemble members, and also we've had a great deal of support from other models, although the change, I say, is beyond 10 days away, which is where most of the other models actually finish. So also a lot of precipitation coming up over the next couple of weeks. Loads of rainfall spikes just there, virtually from the start of the ensemble through to the finish of the ensemble. Looks like we're going to be keeping it really quiet and settled with bands of rain coming in. So this is the operational midnight run of the GFS model. As I say, this forms the basis of the charts that we use in terms of the GFS anyway for these videos. It's always the operational run of the GFS. So this is for Monday. You can see quite clearly we're still in a very mild and unsettled westerly flow across the country. We go through into Tuesday and no real change. As you follow the isobars back, it's a very long fetch southwesterly that's coming in there, particularly for the south. So that's exceptionally mild air moving through the country. That stays with us into Wednesday. Then things probably go a bit colder after a cold front moves through the country on Thursday. I would just say really cooler, but it's a lowering of the temperatures, but it isn't desperately cold by any means. And then we're running up towards day 10, and this takes us to Sunday, the 15th of November. And at this point, you notice we're still in this sort of mild flow. If you follow the isobars back, the air is still originating from sort of the central tropical part of the Atlantic, or at least down to the Azores anyway. Lots of ridging still through many central parts of Europe, low pressure out to the northwest. But the thing to keep an eye on is this ridge here, coming out of Newfoundland and just starting to move towards the south of Greenland. That could start to change things as we go beyond 10 days away. So we move through in towards Monday the 16th. You notice heights are beginning to lower to the south. We're starting to get this ridge through the central part of the Atlantic. A cold front is coming down across the country. And if you follow the isobars back, the air is starting to push up towards the North Pole behind that cold front. So cold air is trying to dig down. Now as we go through to Tuesday the 17th of November, this is 300 hours away, so it's a very long time away, but the model is still going for this northerly to come down through the country after the middle part of the month. Again, we've got the ridging through the central Atlantic. Northerly winds bring cold air through the country, certainly a risk of night frost, and there will also be the risk possibly of snow showers in the north and northeast as well. And we go to Wednesday the 18th in a proper northerly flow there. Again, following the isobars back, the air is originating from a very long way north. So the GFS operational run, which is the highest resolution member of the GFS and should in theory be the most reliable member of the GFS, is consistently going for this cold snap in the second half of the month, but without a great deal of support from the lower resolution members of the GFS ensemble. Hope you're bearing with me. The ECMWF looks like this, bringing up that very long fetch southwesterly on Tuesday with exceptionally mild air. We go through into the middle part of the week, staying mild and unsettled through most of next week. Further rain bands coming through, particularly but not exclusively to the north and west of the country. Day 10 finishes up like this, still very mild, exceptionally mild, potentially with high pressure in there across the Bay of Biscay and France, low pressure out in the Atlantic. But again, we have got this ridge here that's coming out of Newfoundland and heading up towards Greenland. If that ridge goes further towards Greenland, we could well start to see the heights lowering to the south and possibly start pushing the winds into the north. It would be nice to be able to go beyond 10 days away with the ECMWF, but unfortunately we can't. We finish up on day 10, but that does look potentially like it could evolve a day or so after this chart into something colder. And the GEM is very similar as well, very unsettled through the course of next week, but also very mild with high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north. Again, there's that ridge through the Atlantic by the time we go through to day 10, certainly the 15th, that could possibly change things a little bit in the second half of the month. As I say, the Beijing Climate Centre is starting to go for a colder second half of November as well. So this is the day 10 anomaly from the 6th through to the 15th, 500 millibar height anomaly. And this is a very mild one, of course, got the high pressure to the south, low pressure to the northwest, bringing the air up from the tropical Atlantic rather like that. But we go through to the next 10-day period, which is the 16th through to the 25th, and a change has taken place. What this model is doing is sending the high pressure away to the west and the southwest. It's digging down low pressure from the north. So there's a bit of a trough developing within the 500 millibar flow as we go through the 10-day period from the 16th through to the 25th of November. And then we go through to start of December. This is 26th through to the 5th of December, ridging again to the south of Greenland. So it's not quite northern blocking, but it is a fair way to the north and west of us with low pressure underneath it. Again, that could be some sort of trough in the 500 millibar flow, and you see it over here as well. Possibly bring colder air down from the north for the second half of November. And this is the start of December, the 6th through to the 15th of December, the 6th through to the 15th of December. And again, ridging to the south of Greenland, low pressure underneath it. It's not a severely cold pack because the ridging isn't centred over top of the pole, but it is quite cool, and again, it is probably some sort of trough within the 500 millibar flow, looking a bit like that. Could be particularly cold for Scandinavia and eastern parts of Europe, actually. Perhaps a little bit less so for us. But the temperature anomalies are most interesting. So for the coming 10 days, obviously exceptionally mild in those orange colours there from the 6th through to the 15th of November. But then it goes a bit colder from the 16th through to the 25th. We go a bit below average in that period. Not talking about a freeze up, but sort of half a degree to a degree below average from the 16th through to the 25th. And then we maintain that, and that actually intensify it a bit as we go through from the 26th through to the 5th of December. Temperature anomalies then, you've got the scale here, possibly going to 1 to 2 degrees below average, which is fairly cold actually for early December. That would certainly be cold enough to produce some wintry conditions. And then the next 10-day period, the final 10-day period, going from the 6th through to the 15th of December. Again, it's a bit cooler than average, but not as cold as the earlier period. But it does look as though something could be in the works here for the second half of November. Now, certainly up to mid-month, we're going to keep it very mild, potentially exceptionally mild at times. But when we get a bit of a change around in the second half of the month, say around the 16th, 17th onwards, there could just be the hints that something's going on there for that period in terms of turning it colder. But I want to see the GFS ensemble starting to look a little bit more representative of this change. And obviously, it would be nice to get the ECMWF on board with it as well. This will come into a time frame of the ECM model in the next day or so, so not too much longer to wait to see whether the ECM starts to pick up on this. But very mild up to middle part of the month, and then possibly something a bit colder coming along in the second half of the month. That's how we're sort of hinting at things going today. Well, tomorrow we've got JMA Friday, so we'll do another longer range look ahead with the Japanese and CFS V2 models tomorrow. So come back for that, and maybe those models start to pick up on this change in the second half of the month. Right, that's it for now. Come back tonight for the third Christmas update on the Christmas updates page. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.